1, 2, 3. Good evening. Welcome to the Meet the Tutor evening for Strode and Windsor College. The presentation will shortly begin. Just to let you know, this event is being recorded. And if you want to put any questions in the chat box on the bottom bar, please pop them in there and we'll answer them. Thank you. Annette, we're ready to go.
Okay, well, good evening, parents, and welcome to our Meet the Tutor evening. My name is Anna Jenkins. I'm the Associate Director for Tutoring for the sixth form. We are joined tonight by our principal of Strode and Windsor Colleges, sixth form, Amanda Down. Also joining us tonight is Karen Griffiths, our assistant principal for Curriculum Quality sixth form. Both Amanda and Karen will be managing chat, so if you have any questions, Karen and Amanda are answering questions. I'm also joined by my colleague Bernie Welsh. Bernie is our head of tutoring in Windsor, and together we take you through a short presentation this evening. We also have colleagues from our student services team available who can answer questions in chat if you have questions about travel or bursaries, so they are also available. So welcome to everybody. So apologize. So we wanted to give you tonight a bit of an overview of what tutoring is like. At the end of the presentation, some of you will have a chance to meet with your son or his tutor. You have arranged an appointment. If you were unable to make an appointment, tutors have sent their contact details out to parents, so it would be possible to contact the tutor at a different time if you were able to manage to get an appointment for night. Let me start by just giving you a bit of an overview how we are, how structured the guidance at Strode and Windsor Colleges. So as I mentioned, myself and Bernie work very closely together for the sixth form tutoring. We're both supported by our tutor team leaders, Rebecca Kane and Emma Kadri-Langford, and we work closely together as a team. And then, of course, the most important people in the team are our personal tutors. You might wonder about the difference in numbers. That simply reflects the size of the sixth forms at Windsor and at Strode's being slightly bigger, and therefore we have more personal tutors. So all our students are supported by a personal tutor and meet with their tutor once a week for a core study session. These core study sessions are compulsory, are integrated to students' timetable. Our students have a core studies group and work together as a group with their tutor on a program. Bernie and I are going to give you a bit of an overview of what is part of the program, what students learn, in particular first year, how we support them with their learning, we prepare them for the next step, how we encourage them to develop the skills that they need on college. So each program, whether it's year 1 or year 2 or year 2, is a distinct program and is really designed to meet the needs of students at that in that particular year group. The core study sessions are divided into parts, so students will meet with the tutor like a lesson style, and talk about different topics a week, and hot topic to the current affairs, for example. And then the second part, while most students will work independently, to support students one-to-one. So we might talk about questions that have come up, questions students have, but also if there are any issues in subjects, these can be discussed. If students need particular support, so there is one-to-one time part of every core studies lesson. It is a really important element core studies of the students program because it's really our support structure. That's where we can monitor students' well-being, where students can raise concerns that they have or worries, where we also keep a close eye on students' attendance. So tutors monitor that very closely. Tutors get regular updates from subject teachers, for example, if there are any concerns. And I already mentioned that is happening in the second part, one-to-one. Apart from the core study sessions where we deliver the program, to further support students through one-to-one holistic reviews. And these are strategically placed across the year. There are 3 holistic reviews per year for our first year students in level 3, and 2 rounds of holistic reviews for our level 2 students. And that really encourages students to take stock, to look at how things have gone so far in their courses, whether they are on target, for example, to meet the grade they are, grades that they are hopefully achieving by the end. So we call them target minimum grades. We share those with students. Again, where we look at attendance, but we also talk to students about their vision for the future, the plans that they have, or the individual support that they might need to prepare themselves for their future plans. We help students to become independent learners by, where necessary, to refer them to skill support or other support they might need, to liaise with teachers as well. We also cover citizenship topics. I mentioned hot topics at the beginning, and they really are a way of engaging students with current affairs, things that are going on around them, things that they probably talk about anyway or want to be aware of, or have told us want to discuss. But tutors always go prepared as well and bring important relevant topics into the core study sessions. It encourages students to reflect on things, to listen to each other's opinions and views, form their own views as well. And yeah, really just get a chance to talk about things that are happening in their lives and around in society. I've mentioned that we talk about students' vision and preparation for the future, and that means we work really closely with our careers team. So careers and core studies plans this together. We support students with their progression right from the word go really, and talk about their plans or developing plans, because of course not every student at this stage knows exactly what they want to do. Some students do, and again review their plans and develop those. So working together with the careers team is really important. We give students an overview of all progression options, most progress into higher education, but of course we make sure students know that there are other options. So in the first few weeks, all our students already had a visit from our careers advisor, Sally, who introduced herself to students, gave a little bit of an overview of what the careers team can offer, where students can find her, how they can arrange an appointment, so that students know that support for their next step after college, even though they have really only started, that support is available. Core studies, the tutor is really an important link between student, parents, subject teachers. So tutors do bring it all together really, try to have an overview over all their duties, they're progressing, how they're getting on. They communicate with parents, of course, so do get in touch with if you have got any questions or concerns. And we also really try hard to make sure that through core studies, students become part of a college community. So there, for example, next week we're preparing for student parliament, which is taking place, our first student parliament. So we want to know what students' views are, they've settled in, are there any challenges already? And we seek students' views throughout, of course, throughout the year. So there'll be 3 parliaments, and we try to make sure that students feel part of the college, that they're feeling comfortable here, have settled in well, that we respond to any concerns that they're having. We are really keen that students don't miss classes, hence the focus of tutors to monitor and review attendance on a very regular basis. I've already mentioned the reviews, and if things don't go so well, we have a student management process, and that means that we talk to students initially about any concerns we have. There may be regarding attendance, there may be regarding progress or any other issues, and if necessary, also communicate that with parents. So it's really a way of formally flagging any concerns, but also making sure that students are on track, that they do what is necessary to be successful, whether that is completing work, whether that is attending regularly, being on time, submitting assignments, etc. So a curriculum staff communicate regularly with tutors, especially if there are concerns, so that tutors are aware and can also pick that up. Attendance is absolutely crucial. If you look at the data on this slide, you can see that a drop in attendance very, very quickly affects the students' attainment. It also means that students, when they fall behind, get very easily stressed, find college much harder than it has to be. So we really talk to students on a regular basis and have done already in the first 2 weeks about the importance of attendance. We really expect them to be in all lessons, to be on time. And your support with that is really appreciated. We have already shared information about the parent portal. In the next parent update, there will be further details, and that will explain how you as a parent can also keep an eye on your son's or daughter's attendance. So attendance is absolutely crucial. Teaching and learning happening in the classroom. Sometimes if a student really can't be there, of course, we will support them with catching up on work, but it will never be the same as the actual lesson. So yeah, look out for attendance, monitor that, talk with son or daughter about, whether they're attending, and also take advantage of the parent portal so that you can check attendance out. If it isn't possible, our next 2 slides, I just want to share with you how you would be able to notify us or students as well. That's not always possible. Students don't always start in the morning. You might have left already home. So students can report their own absence if they feel poorly. So that's unplanned absence, and it's very, very similar for Windsor. But it might also be that an absence is planned. We ask that you or the student let us know in advance so that we can prepare registers. We hope that any absences are being kept to a minimum, that regular appointments might be scheduled outside students' timetable. But we also know sometimes that isn't possible. So please let us know or remind your son, daughter, that we really expect students to inform the college and include subject teachers if they can't attend the lesson. It is important that students understand and explain that, and we remind them that the absence notification needs to not just go to the subject teacher, but also to the attendance team. And hence those 2 slides. The information on those 2 slides is included in a parent guide. And together with the recording, we will also make that parent guide available through the next parent update. So we have emphasis on good attendance. In part of core studies and also college-wide, we use a V.E.S.P.A approach, and you can just see on this slide what V.E.S.P.A stands for. I've mentioned a couple of times the word vision. So when students know, how these qualifications that they're gaining with us might help them to be successful in the future, it often gives them additional motivation, especially when things get tough or more challenging class. And I'm sure your son or daughter will have already noticed that the amount of work we're setting is increasing. That's being started off quite gently, but we do expect students to work to 4 to 5 hours independently per subject per week. And I think students are starting to notice that the amount of that's being set, the type of activities that they need to undertake is increasing. So vision is really important, hence the close cooperation with careers as well. And throughout the year, really, we work on different activities that support the development of good study skills, like the systems that students have that in place, that students understand that effort is vital, that is it the right type of effort as well to prioritize the right type of task, that it isn't a straight line to success, so there will be setbacks. So that attitude learning, that overcoming challenges is part of the learning curve, really. And that practice, as we say, make perfect. So really regular practice, regular work, completing past papers, practice exams type questions. As these things come up, we introduce them in core studies as well to support the curriculum work. So V.E.S.P.A really is a regular feature in core studies lessons in form of activities. The next few slides, I just wanted to take you through some of the content of core studies, so you have a little bit more of an idea of what your son or daughter is learning with their tutor and their core studies group. So at the moment, of course, we're in October and Black History Month is featuring. On Sunday is World Mental Health Day. So those key dates in our calendars, we celebrate those and with students through course studies. Also this term, we will introduce our students to a careers platform called UNIFOC. Students have access to that through their own account and are creating that in course studies. And that might be something which you want to maybe at home explore together. It takes students through the different progression options. Really great to help them keep a record of the skills that they're developing and to explore future careers as well. I've mentioned the holistic review taking place this half term, and as part or outcome of the holistic reviews, sometimes tutors make referrals to the careers team, but also to other support services. So this first half term is nearly at the end. Students are already engaged in a lot of activities. I mentioned the preparation for the Parliament as well. Then in our spring half term, students will have had an overview of their progression opportunities and options. Very often we include, or generally the whole program really is all about topics students have told us they want to learn about, and financial literacy is one of those, where we have the opportunity to also engage outside speakers, guest speakers, take students on conferences, have guest speakers from universities joining us. That worked particularly well last year because we used online technology much more and have had the chance to beam university speakers into the classroom doing course study sessions. But throughout, you can see that careers preparation is a theme that's always present. There will be two particular events, the Future Pathways Fair in the spring, and then also summer term, an HE Higher Education Fair. Our level 2 students at the end of their second term with us will be thinking about progression into level 3, and they will all be invited to an interview to discuss their progression options. That already takes me then to the summer term. The summer term is a really full preparation for higher education. That's when students, for example, get introduced to the statement writing. We register students already on UCAS at that point so that they can get started on their application. We talk about open days, and these are coming back. So many universities are offering open days face-to-face again. And hopefully by next spring, next summer, that will be a very regular occurrence again, the COVID situation permitting. So again, where we can, we will have guest speakers from universities, former students, but that will emerge as the year progresses and opportunities become available. Throughout that time, at any point, students can meet with the careers team, with our careers advisor, come back, ask further questions. Initial meetings often give students a little bit of homework, and they then return with specific questions. So that support is always there. I hand over to my colleague Bernie now, who will take you through further support that is available to students that is not coming directly from the tutor. Bernie.
Hello, good evening, everybody. Thank you for coming. Unlike what it actually says on the tin, I am Bernie Welsh and not Annette Jenkins. I might be appearing as Annette Jenkins, but I'm Bernie Welsh and I'm head of tutoring at Windsor. Just picking up from where Annette left off, I think it's important that you realise that the students at college are supported by a lot of people, not just by their teachers or indeed even by the personal tutors, although they play a very key part. There's also a wider staffing range of people who take care of them. So we've mentioned careers and how they look at employability. But within student services, we also have a finance and welfare officer. We have an officer for student engagement. You've probably seen the picture of Veronica, who is our attendance officer at Windsor. And students can drop into student services based in the hub at any time to get a lot of kind of practical questions offered. They can be very useful. And our learning support team works up from the library, and they're really helpful for students who need that extra bit of support, perhaps emotionally, but also sometimes academically. We also have study skills who aren't on there, but they're also based in the library, and they can support anybody just with a one-off piece of work they're finding difficult, or even with planning and getting work in on time over the course of the year. Annette, could you move the slide on for me, please? Annette, I wonder if you could move the slides on, please. Thank you. Yes, so we also have support from various external platforms that we have links with. Some of these are really focused on student well-being, support with mental health issues or emotional issues that arise as students are going through what is quite a complicated time in their life between 16 and 19, and often in a new place at college. So one of the organisations we work with provides us with a platform for online support for emotional problems and for mental health issues that don't need serious medical attention, and that platform is called Together All, and students can access this quite easily through Moodle, through their virtual educational site, and most students are aware of it and know how to reach it, but we do keep reinforcing that throughout the year. Another organisation we work with and refer students to is COOTH, who provide counselling for students who are feeling sad, feeling perhaps that they have mental health issues and need someone to talk to. So COOTH is a very useful organisation we work with, as is the Mix, and students are regularly referred to these organisations if they feel that they need that extra support. Okay, thank you, Annette, if you could move me on. Thank you. Our role is to work with the students, to work with teachers, but also very much to work with parents. And so I suppose it's worth considering how we work with you. So we give a report from the college every half term, and that report is sent out to you. You can discuss it with your son or your daughter or your ward, but also there's discussion of that with the student in the holistic reviews that my colleague Annette mentioned, but also we are happy to discuss reports and perhaps what teachers are getting at in terms of why students are on the grades they are and so on. So all tutors are very happy to work with parents directly. Access to attendance data through the parent portal. Once you do get the parent portal link, and that will be coming out soon, roughly in conjunction with the reports that are coming out for this half term, you will find it very useful because you will be able to check your child's data through the parent portal directly. Regular parent emails come from student services as well, often about information that is coming through which affects all students and all parents. And then have a regular student parent review day, one for first year students and another one for second year students. And the first year student review day is on Friday the 18th of March. Think of it, if you like, despite its title as a sort of parent evening. It runs all day. Students are encouraged to bring a parent along, but all students will meet with their teachers, and we very much want parents to come along on the same day if that's possible. Okay, thank you, Annette. A little bit of explanation on what your son or daughter's or ward's report will look like and what the meaning of the grades that we refer to on there is. So first of all, you'll see something referred to as an MTG, a minimum target grade. Basically, that's something that's calculated nationally by an organisation that does this for all schools and colleges. And what they do is they try to say, what is the minimum your son or daughter should be achieving based on what they achieved at GCSE. And we know students sometimes do better at sixth form than they did at GCSE. And so there's always room to stretch that grade. But we would be wondering why students were falling significantly below their minimum target grade. And that would start to give concern signals for us that we would communicate with you. But having said that, plenty of room for going beyond the minimum target grades as well. This minimum target grade won't change throughout the year. So it's used, as we say, partly to motivate students to exceed grades, but also to make sure that they are on track and achieving to their potential. Current working grade is a grade at which the student is working at the time when the report was written. So that would stretch over, for this first report, the first 6 weeks, roughly what grade is that student working at. So it would be contributed to by a range of assessments that the students have had, plus the way they are in class and so on. This is updated and changed every half term as the progress reports are sent out. Okay, and what it does is it indicates it indicates progress made. So if a student is achieving a grade C in the first term and then a grade B in the second half term, we can see that they've made significant progress. Thank you, Annette. Okay, grades on students' reports. Yes, you'll also see an ATL, an attitude to learning grade, and that figures from number 1 to number 5, with 1 being the best possible attitude to learning. Students who achieve a grade 1 will be getting to all their lessons before time, ready to settle themselves before the lesson starts, not bang on time. They have excellent attendance. They show continual evidence of always acting on feedback. So we would see that if the last essay had suggestions on it about what the students could do to improve, it would be evident that they had taken note of that in their next essay. These grade 1 for attitude to learning students contribute really actively in the lessons. They also show an ambition to do more than perhaps what is asked of them. And this is where your A star, your A's, and even your B grades come from. It's that reading around, it's watching things on TV that are relevant, it's reading novels that are others than the one that the students are studying, etc. It's that extra mile that the student goes, and that's what they need to be achieving an attitude to learning grade of 1. Okay, Annette? Okay, I suppose what we'd like to say is, how can you and I together help to ensure the students' success alongside their teachers? What you can do best for your son or daughter award is encourage their attendance to be regular and to make sure that they're always there on time. Sometimes it takes a little nagging, but it does pay off in the end. You can check the data on their attendance and punctuality on the parent portal, and you will be able to do that soon. Please make a link with your son or daughter's personal tutor. Let them know that you're interested, and if there's any information you want, please ask. Look out for the key dates and activities going on in the college. So, for example, the student review day that we talked about in March, but also the dates of the HE events that we're holding and the careers events. Yeah, one thing we would ask is that it's great. We like students to have part-time jobs. We think it really encourages their maturity. But if your son or daughter award is taking on too much, that can have a detrimental effect on their studies. So I would ask parents, please, to look out that that balance is kept well. Thank you, Annette. Okay, individual learning plans. These are on the Pro Monitor and Pro Portal elements that students and teachers can see. You should be able to see these, I think, through the Pro Portal links as well. On the students' individual learning plan, we have information which supports how students can look at their position and how they're doing academically and monitor their own progress. It also has details about how they can improve from suggestions and targets set by their teachers. It helps them to reflect on goals, again, through the target setting, and their grades will be there in their reports as well. The attendance data is nice and clearly laid out, so all students should know their own attendance records. Praise comments are put on there from teachers when they feel students have done particularly well. Sometimes they're shared with parents, usually they are their praise comments. And where we have student management concerns, where students are worrying us in terms of their progress, they will be noted there as well. And that's usually when meetings might occur at some stage with a parent too, but they will be noted for earlier levels of concern too. Communication with students and staff who support and teach. Yes, so it's a great communication tool on the comments, whereby we can see how students are doing and make sure that they have the support they need. Thank you, Annette. Finally, the Pro Portal for parents and carers. So this is the parent portal. Excuse me. Details will be sent out in October, so expect those quite soon. This will be very reassuring, I think, that you'll be able to find out so much about how your child is doing at college. You get a very similar view to what the students do. So what I've just talked about in terms of the ILP and the smart targets and the comments, many of those items will also be visible to you. Makes it very easy for you to check on attendance and progress. And yeah, if you want to see more, you can ask your son or daughter award if they will show you their view of Pro Portal, because there may be a few details there that they can see and you can't, but there aren't many. And there is a section on the website regarding parents and guardians that will give you updates on Pro Portal and what you can see there. Thank you. So access to the parent portal is through the college website, and you have the link there. There is a link at the foot of each web page So you should always be able to see how to get into the parent portal. If you do have any problems accessing that, please take this link and describe the problem that you have, and we should be able to get back to you and fix it for you. There is a parents and guardian section of the website under help and advice, and what you'll find there is a guide to the parent portal, and also there's a guide there looking at how students can settle into college. So students will have seen that, but you will be able to see it now too through that section of the website. There's also a link to online mental health support and the platform we discussed earlier, which was Together All. Okay, when the student goes into PROPORTAL, this is what they see. So you can see the menu along the top horizontal bar includes the ILP. So in there, the student will be able to see their attendance data. They would also be able to see their SMART targets. And we're actually on the SMART target page here. And this is a great sort of training for students. And I kind of use it myself informally, even at my age. It asks students to consider what it is they're most aiming to do or most aiming to improve on in the next couple of weeks, say. They set a date for when they're going to go back and see if they've done it. The version of SMART, it means that we want it to be very specific and to be measurable and to have timing so that they know how long they've got to achieve that. It's a really good practice in goal setting, in making students ambitious, and also in encouraging self-reflection on the part of students. Teachers and tutors will also set SMART targets. And if a student is brought into the student management system, there will be targets set for them as part of that general improvement. Thank you, Annette. Okay, and here we are on another page from the student dashboard of PROPORTAL. So you can see that the students can see their own attendance, they can see their punctuality rates. Okay, thank you. If we are in a situation where a teacher cannot make it to a lesson, it could be because there is training planned or there is some event that the teacher has to attend, and so that would be a planned absence. We are also, as much as anyone else, prone to illness and so forth. So I'll just take you through the procedures. On the occasion, a lesson might be replaced by independent study if a teacher is on a college trip or attending mandatory training. So that's a planned absence. Generally, we can't say that we're able to cover lessons where a student, sorry, I'm in student mode, where a teacher is off sick. Relevant work is generally set, and the students will be asked to complete it independently. When a staff member is ill and has only been able to tell us that morning, we will work very quickly to send an email to the students telling them that that lesson is cancelled, but also emailing them work to do. Some key dates to remember for your diaries. The 15th of October is when our first year half-termly progress reports are coming out. So look out for those. They can be accessed through the parent portal. And then we have holistic reviews in November from the week starting the 11th, 3 weeks of holistic reviews. That means that your son or daughter won't be attending their lesson of core studies that week. They may be called in for a one-to-one interview with their tutor in one of the 3 weeks. So every student will get a one-to-one holistic review with their personal tutor, but it will vary over the 3 weeks when their appointment occurs. Excuse me. On the 17th of December, we are ending our term. Everybody will be ready then, I think, to reflect back on how the first term has gone, and I'm sure students will be glad of the rest. But you will also receive a progress report. So that will be the second half term. And it will be interesting, perhaps from your point of view, to look at the differences between the first half termly report and the one that comes out at the end of term in December. We come back to college at the 4th of January, and that's the start of term 2. And that's an indication in a way of the way the year passes quite quickly and the need for us to be moving forward constantly with students. In January, there are formal year 1 assessments. So students will be assessed by their tutors in their subjects, and they will have a grade which will give them some idea of where they stand. It's quite a good point in the year to do that because they will be roughly midway through their first year of their subjects. We've mentioned this before. The 18th of March is Student Parent Progress Review Day, and we would invite all parents to come in with their sons or daughters to discuss the progress that they're making with their subject teachers. And then we come to exams. In April, we set exams for our first year students, And that is an indicator in the way of how successful they have been in the year, any problems they might be having that need to be addressed quickly, but also of how strong they will be for going into the second year. And any issues that need resolving at that point can be clearly seen from the exam results. Okay. In May and June, there is a week of work experience planned for all first year students. We say May and June because various courses will be doing that at different points in the year. But we would encourage parents to discuss with students what kind of work experience they might like to engage in, and to perhaps start looking around for organisations that would be able to provide them with that. And then on the 8th of July, that is the last day of our college year, and the students will start their holiday from the 8th of July. Okay, Annette? What's next? Okay, so you will have a chance this evening now to speak to your son or daughter's personal tutor. I think you might have made an appointment with them for a virtual appointment, and so you'll be able to move into that section of the evening. If you don't have an appointment, please do email your son or daughter's tutor, who I believe emailed you earlier in the week or even last week, and let them know that you would like to speak to them, and they can arrange an appointment at a different time. Okay, Amanda and Karen are available to answer questions that are put into the chat now, and the student services team are also available to answer questions. So they're the people who give the wider support, and if you have any questions for them, they can answer those on the chat now. They're available online to chat tonight, but any general questions you may have about travel, finance, or support. Okay, if you have any more detailed questions, you can contact student services directly on the email addresses below, and they will get back to you to discuss those more detailed answers individually. Okay. Thank you very much for coming. I'm going to hand you back to Annette.
Thank you, Benny. Parents, we slightly overrun, though. If you have an appointment, have almost certainly left already and have joined the tutor through the link that tutor sent out. Thank you very much for listening to us tonight, for being there. Thank you to Karen and Amanda for answering questions throughout, and also the student service team. We will follow up sending out a booklet with the information about the parent portal is coming out. The booklet will have contact details for the tutors, for the heads of department, other key staffs and services. So take a look, some key dates in there as well. And we will also send the recording. I will make the recording available. Thank you very much. All the very best to you. This year we don't have to wish you a safe journey home because we've done it as a virtual event. Experience last year has shown us that that was a format that was welcome. More people were able to attend. But nevertheless, thank you very much, and for hopefully good cooperation about the 2 years your son or daughter is studying at Strode and Windsor College. Thank you.